But hey, that's a nice thing though. When he was sipping that old fashioned, he was thinking of you.
Sure, he was.
He was. He was like,
I'm sure.
There's my lovely wife right there in the glass with me.
I don't think he's ever thought that.
No, it was awesome. It was cool.
And welcome everyone to episode 257 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Stephen, Kenny, and Anthony. Remix, and Shannon is here tonight.
Yay.
In the house.
She just said, yay. There was, come on, you got to be more excited than that.
Listen, too much of a good thing is still too much.
Oh, okay.
You've had me on very recently.
That's true, but people seem to enjoy that.
Listeners request you.
They did. They requested you.
Only because I gave you a hard time.
Yeah. And
that and the OnlyFans photos.
Right, I was going to say, when I came over here
my
tonight.
Feet? Did you take my feet pics?
I did.
Feet pics.
I have a private channel. You just don't know about it. That's how I afford all this bourbon.
when I came over tonight, one person was not clothed, and it wasn't me. I had fully had my clothes on. Actually,
I had clothes on.
I know it was Kenny actually that was shirtless. I'm just having fun. So I did notice that while I was trying to finish the school year, and had all these issues going on with different things, running an academic department, this man to my left was out basically doing everything that he could possibly do in bourbon and making me jealous along the way. So Kenny,
yeah,
I don't really have much to offer other than, how's your have you come back from your vacation yet, or are you just constantly on vacation with your bourbon escapade, sir?
It's very rough working in work days in between bourbon days. It's kind of it's a hard thing.
Yeah,
been a little behind. Yeah, so we talked.
Hold on, I'll do the commentary on Shannon's face.
Oh.
She's looking right at Kenny.
Work is an absolute buzzkill for him.
No, please go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we talked about all the things I have for my whole little birthday 4 or 5 day period thing.
Right.
Well, the following week was also really cool. I went and did the Willett Estate Tour.
Oh.
So it's a brand new tour they're offering now. You and up to 9 other people, so 10 people can go.
Okay.
It's got a hefty price tag,
which is what chased me away from it. I think I may have been able to make that work, but
it is $5,000.
Is it really $5,000?
But for 10 people, so it's $500 a person.
But it's like 9 hours long.
Oh, was it 9
very
long? 9 hour long?
You were gone all day.
Yeah.
Did you get access to any of the bong holes?
Actually, where's Steven? Where's Steven?
Oh, you need Steven back.
Let's pull Shannon off of this episode and talk about another time.
If he walks down the steps, Shannon, you're out.
This is my house. I'm not leaving. Half of this is mine.
That's right.
Just so y'all know.
Yeah, you better watch out, Kenny. I mean,
I will tell you which bottles you can have.
I will tell you which bottles you can have.
I actually sat on my back porch one time with
I love Driftless Glen, so please don't take those from me.
I was just going to say, this should never happen to you guys, but I sat on my back porch one time and gave a friend of mine advice for his friend. His friend had a very large bourbon collection and was going through divorce. His wife was threatening to take half of it. And so I was going through bottle by bottle helping value a collection for a guy I had never met before. For legal purposes. I was hoping they were going to subpoena me, and then they would give me a bottle or two for my work, but nothing like that ever happened.
I'm just telling everybody right now, all my bottles, they're going to be BOGO.
Oh,
buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one. Okay, all right. Kenny's starting to sweat over here. Kenny, you haven't even gotten to your Willett family estate now.
This might be like the old Carter thing. I guess I might have to buy it back from you.
Oh, no.
Well, also consider inflation.
Oh, there you go.
Bourbon prices are down, though, babe.
That's
Not
true.
for you.
Soft market right now.
Yeah.
Not for you.
No,
so Kenny, so $5,000, 9-hour tour.
It was a good tour.
9-hour tour.
It was fun though. So when we got there, I was kind of bad too. We were out there having some parking lot pours.
Oh, of course. What's a 9-hour $500 tour without parking lot pours?
And we got in trouble.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Whoa, you got to tell me about this, because I've never heard of anybody get in trouble for parking lot pours.
Yeah, so this girl comes walking up. She's like, hey, da-da-da. And she was like, you all here for the Willett Estate Tours? And we're like, yeah. She's like, well, what you're doing here is illegal. You cannot be, if you any kind of alcohol, we have to serve you while you're on our grounds and all that. So we quickly put our bottles away. Did not argue with her.
Wow.
So I'm not sure.
You didn't?
Not sure if it's truly illegal, but I'm sure like if they say no and you're on their grounds, then you can't.
Right.
But I'm not sure if it's
arguing.
truly illegal. No, not me.
Yeah,
Right.
you.
Hey, I drank King Kentucky at Woodford right in the parking lot there one time, which was, I was taking it back home, you know what I mean? Like
Drink in every parking lot.
Brown Foreman, go ahead. Anyway.
So
Started off with a bang.
Yeah, did start with the bang. And we get in there, and the first thing we do is actually super freaking cool. They have an ice guy. I don't know if you know that or not.
An ice guy? Please.
They have an ice guy.
What's the guy do? He oversees the ice?
Yes.
Okay.
He makes the ice for every cocktail, every drink up there, everything they serve.
Oh, good grief.
They have these big, huge freezers that they slowly freeze layer by layer and all that crap, so it's crystal clear. He pulls the big ice block out, cuts it with an electric chainsaw.
Oh, my God.
Then he has this big machete knife that he chops into angles. So if you ever go there and get cocktails and you notice how the ice is at an angle, then it looks like a little diamond, like, the little 5 little sides on top or whatever.
Yeah.
That's them chopping it and doing it, man. But the cool part.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we get there and they have old fashions out there for us. So, and they have our name on it, name badge. Like, oh, man, this is pretty cool. We go up and look inside the ice cube for each person individually is a picture. So they grab pictures off people's Facebook or whatever.
Oh, wait
so
a minute.
my Facebook profile picture is inside of an ice cube of the old fashioned I'm drinking.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
How did that feel? Did it feel like...
It was embarrassing.
Why?
Because he sent me the picture of it,
Oh,
and I
yeah?
was like, that's embarrassing.
You thought it was embarrassing?
Because his Facebook picture is of he and I.
Oh.
But
Hiking or camping?
We're on a hike. We had been camping. We were on a hike.
I've
I
seen
have
that
this
picture.
old
It's
busted
nice.
backpack on.
Yeah.
I have a ratty T-shirt that the sleeves were cut off of, and we're just goofy posing.
But hey, that's a nice thing though. When he was sipping that old fashioned, he was thinking of you.
Sure he was.
He was. He was
I'm
like,
sure.
"There's my lovely wife right there in the glass with me."
I don't think
and
he's
I love
ever
it."
thought that.
No, it was awesome. It was cool. So you get to see how it's made. He pulls ice out. He's chopping it. Does this, does that. I've got pictures for that.
Okay.
I remember, I posted 1 or 2 pictures on our
Yes.
account. I got more pictures I meant to post and just never did.
I can always tell when you're out and about because the posts start coming in. Then I get all these notifications, and I'm like, "Damn it, what's Kenny doing now?" That's what happens. Yeah.
I
In a good
need
way.
to post more of
Sometimes
those.
they're reels with no music.
Ah, yes, yes.
I'm old. I'm new at all this stuff.
Simmons was old.
Yeah, I'm new at all this.
I'm old too, man.
I'll actually I'll do an Instagram post and I'll say, Anthony, go add all the tags to it because I don't know how to do that.
But I got to give you credit. You've gotten a lot better lately, so very good, man. Yeah.
And then we could do a tour. They go through and talk about the Colesveen family and all that stuff. And I didn't realize that they're actually the Willett family. I had no idea. I'm newer to Bourbon. I never really went down there.
Gotcha.
So the head guy that really took it back off again in the 80s or whatever, or 70s, 80s, his wife is a Willett, and so that's how they got all that through there. But
Okay.
nah, man, and he's in the Bourbon Hall of Fame and all kinds of stuff. So that was really cool. And the cool part was they had 4 bottles that were that have been barrel picks that they did for that estate tour specifically.
Okay.
So along the way of the tour, because you get to see all the mash tanks and you see everything they do there, but you get to drink one of those 4, all 4 of them, but at different times.
They have pot and column stills there.
Yeah.
Both. Okay.
They had both.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then
they only make the good stuff on the pot still, though. Only the good stuff comes
That's
off
right,
that
baby.
one. Yeah.
Remember that pot still though you had that was from 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
That was actually not bad.
That wasn't bad, but that was
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's not like today.
Now it's a soupy grain mash.
Oh.
Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm interrupting again.
No, dude, ain't nobody want to hear me talk anyway.
Yeah. No, we do.
No, then, well, you might act like you do, but our listeners don't.
Oh. Whoa. Geez. Do you need
That's
a
what
hug? Do you need a hug today?
I got a message from one of the listeners that said I talk too much.
Who said that? Really?
It's from Lanthony Amperos, but I don't know
You always,
who
man.
that was.
You can fool me at any time.
So then we got to go to one of the rick houses and thieve from 3 barrels.
Ooh.
Then we got to slide back in between because like we had to sign a waiver. So this isn't like a normal tour. Like you have to sign a waiver if you get hurt. I mean,
really?
So we're like walking in through the rick house, in between the rows of, like if you go to Heaven Hill, if you go to Wild Turkey, you're not allowed to go in those places. So we're like back there crawling through barrels to get to this 12-and-a-half-year-old rye. We literally pull the drill out and we tap it ourselves and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool, pretty great. And obviously go to the restaurant and had to get an egg salad sandwich.
I was going to say, you got one of those for
chicken
sure.
thighs.
Oh, nice.
And I was able to buy a few bottles, so that was cool.
Okay. How, like when you say a few bottles, like things they had there or things that were part of the tour or what?
They had those 4 bottles pulled for the tour.
Okay.
You got to buy 2 of the 4.
Nice.
So I got in and we're going to probably do one on the pod coming up because it might be one of the best things I've tasted this year.
Really?
It's an 11-year-old hazmat. I think it was high rye bottle. And then they had a 12-year-old, another 11-year-old, maybe a 10-year-old.
Nice.
And they were all cool.
What'd you buy in the parking lot?
No, we were drinking in the parking lot. We weren't supposed to.
Yeah, beforehand.
Oh.
What'd you buy afterwards in the parking lot?
No, I did not buy anything else down there.
I don't believe you.
I did not.
Well, 2 of our listeners.
I might have got an extra bottle at lunch while I was there, but Julius went.
Oh, Julius went?
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
Oh, nice. That's good. I was going to say, we already talked about, did we talk about your OBC experience yet or not? Yes, we did talk about that. And so while you're talking about your $500 Willett experience, I have to tell you that 2 of our dedicated listeners, friends of mine, Ed and Jeff, you've met Jeff, you've never met Ed, the morning after that episode came out, I get a group text message that says, Jeff says to Ed, like I'm not in this, "Hey Ed, when did you attend your last $1,200 dinner?" And Ed responds, that would be on the 12th of never. And I'm like, you guys are killing me. And then Jeff said, poor guys must not have a Golden Corral in Kentucky.
Well,
I just had to tell you that because Jeff, I know Jeff's a one of a kind man, but I'm just saying, man, some of your high dollar escapades have got some people a little bit, like turning their head a little bit.
Well, and I was.
You're a little pretentious.
he's at least Kenny's got that same T-shirt on 3 days out of the week, but he's going to $1,200 dinner.
Right.
That's right. I remember one time, especially during the winter time, I wear the same hoodie for who knows how many days in a row or weeks in a row.
So
Anthony was on me. Well, I spend my money on certain things, other things I don't.
No, and that's fine. You do that. So, given the Willett experience, would you have done it again? Would you do it again in a heartbeat? Like next week, if somebody's like, I backed out, we got a group and we got another spot for $500.
He has FOMO. Of course he would go.
No.
Yes.
Okay. So Morrow and I talked about that. Morrow's the one that arranged it.
Okay.
So Morrow got a lot of the crew together to go and do it.
Nice.
And that's what we talked about afterwards. If it was $2,500 for 10 people, not 5, I would probably go again.
Okay.
It's just too much. Now, if you do not have the opportunities that we are afforded here, especially live in Central Kentucky area and having some bourbon connections, then honestly, if you can go, I would say you would enjoy it and you would love it. But we get to do a lot of cool things. We get to go do a lot of tours. We get to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We get to go. We did the Wild Turkey thing. We do just and Four Roses picks, all that kind of stuff. We get to do that and it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
So this was a different experience, and I'm glad I did it once though. So I do not regret doing it at all whatsoever. But I couldn't do it again unless it was maybe $250-$300 max for me.
Okay.
But if you are, especially if you don't have those opportunities, you don't live in the Central Kentucky area where you're around all that, you probably want to do it. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So the 2 guys that did that is Nick Wood.
Okay.
And Mason DeSalvo.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They've been at Willett maybe a year and a half at the most, I think is what they said. But they started out, the rolling barrels, doing whatever, different things. But they are legit bourbon nerds like us. Okay. And they love it. And I guess Drew and whoever else there noticed that. So he's like, hey, y'all spearhead this program. So this whole program they came up with themselves.
Oh, wow.
And kind of have got it up and going. And so there'll be changes to it, I'm sure, because we were the first official one. There was one earlier this year.
Okay.
That was like a beta test for it. That's the one that Garrett went on initially.
Oh, nice.
And I think Corey went and Will, a bunch of other guys went.
Yeah.
And this one was the first official one, so changes will probably come to it. But Mason and Nick were, I mean, dude, talk about enthusiastic, knowledgeable, just awesome guys. So that's part of what made the tour so good too. Was actually those two. It was really cool. And we need to blind that hazmat that I got, but dude, that alone might make it worth paying a good amount to go.
Oh, really?
On that
Okay.
tour. I mean, it was, the bottle wasn't cheap. It was $400 something bucks, like you get it at Liquor Barn Total Wine. But that barrel's pretty amazing.
Well, I feel like Willett is sort of crafting that experience after the experience that the few selected groups have. You know how there's selected groups that get to go on campus like a couple times a year, maybe once or twice a year, and select their barrels and do all that stuff. That's always been something I've seen from afar that's been like, man, I'd love to be in that club. But then I'm thinking to myself, it probably takes a lot of money to get in that club, and I probably don't have it. So, but yes, so I feel like they're crafting the experience into something similar.
And at that price, that's what Mauro and I talked about. For that price, I would have wanted to probably thieve from a barrel that's like not their stuff. Like some of their 18, 19, 20-year-old stock they got left. Just something that's a little bit different, for that much money.
Right.
So that's why I'm more like $250, $300 a person's in line.
Well, as long as... Oh, go ahead, please, Shannon.
You think they'll put up a no loitering sign in the parking lot?
No. Most people aren't dumb like us and just sit out there and drink.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first establishment that's done that because of you.
Shout out McDonald's in Palomar. Mark Prater, my man. If you go to McDonald's in Palomar,
what?
Me and all my buddies in high school, those no loitering signs were because we hung out in high school in the parking lots.
Loitered.
Oh gosh, dude, that's why we hung out there. It was so bad.
He is giving you the cleaned up version.
Okay. Well,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We'll just say that up there. And UFC,
but no rock and roll.
Sex, drugs, and R&D.
Throws UFC in there.
Sex, drugs.
Well, it kind of was like
UFC,
a fight club.
Fight club.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Shout out McDonald's Palomar.
If you know, you know.
Look at that.
That's right.
My goodness, you guys. You're like, we used to run this town.
It was bad.
Well, I'm glad you made it back from the Willett tour and you didn't take your bottle and hashtag bless and then flip it for something online.
I did see one of them listed.
I was going to say, a lot of people tend to do that. They're like, oh, I'm so happy I'm on this tour. They're like, I'm going to get that money back.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell one of my bottles. Hey, man, it's your bottle. Do what you want with it. I just love having fun with that kind of stuff, So.
Oh, and that bottle?
Yeah.
Shout out to Willett's Glass Makers.
What do you mean?
That's the one that fell out of my truck.
Oh, really?
I thought it was broke.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Busted.
So you have now a Willett story, and I had one that I told a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I'll retell it
he's
real
on the
quickly
move
here.
again.
He's on the move. He's got to move around. Kenny's got restless leg. You guys remember those commercials for restless leg? Shannon, do you remember those? He's got restless leg.
He's got ADHD.
Yeah. So
Heavy on the H.
I had a Willett bottle, interestingly enough, that I got.
Heavy on the what?
The H.
Oh, okay.
So I had a Willett bottle. I told this story. It was
Heavy D up on the microphone.
Nope.
Christmas miracle. So my Willett bottle was sitting up on a shelf in the garage, and I just turned and accidentally hit it. It fell off and falls directly on the neck, right? Straight down. Dents the cap, but somehow that bottle did not break. And I thought that's a good omen. I opened that bottle the same night because I didn't want to take any chances. And sure enough, the whole entire top was cracked because it was plastic on top of there. And I don't know how. It just must have hit right. But yeah. So what was your story?
Wow.
You dropped yours right out of the truck and it stayed intact.
Yeah. So I opened the door, and this fell all the way out. It landed on the top and dented it.
Uh-huh.
Look at the front where it's scuffed there.
Holy cow!
And look at the big chip out of the bottom. It literally took a chip of glass out of the bottom.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is actually chunks of glass out of this bottle.
Chunks of glass missing.
Yeah.
So when I took the foil out,
Makes it more valuable, by the way. Go ahead.
the whole entire plastic was cracked up there.
Yeah. Yep.
I got so lucky that I would have been sick. I would have been so sick. I would have broke.
You need to make a special sticker for it.
That was 37 out of 111 bottles, and it would have been one less.
That's the hazmat, 11-year hazmat.
Oh my God!
Yeah, dude.
Well, it's a good thing that that hazmat held up in the bottle there for you.
I'm very happy about that.
Do you think it holds up in a cocktail well?
It would go in my bar cart.
There you go. Yes.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man.
Didn't a Calumet also fall out of your truck?
Uh-oh.
No.
Yes.
That's in a box.
With
though, isn't it?
Andrew? Didn't Andrew have a Calumet?
Oh, I didn't drop it though.
No.
Yeah.
Dropped a Calumet.
Well, he himself fell.
Oh,
And then
okay.
his bottle also.
Well, there you go.
So enough about me. Do we have any reviews?
Absolutely. We have probably one of the single greatest reviews in the history of the Mashup podcast. So you guys might remember a couple weeks ago, Kenny had a little, funny thing to say about his brother, Sean. And then it was also saying something nice about him. Well, Sean popped onto Spotify and left us a review. So this review was left for us about a month ago. And he said, "Best Bourbons podcast ever. Best Big Brother ever. You are an inspiration to me. You have really shaped and molded my life in a way that I cannot ever repay you for. I do really appreciate you and everything that you have done for me, Sean."
Insert Kenny's original quote here.
Yeah. Because on our blinds episode, I made that up.
Yeah.
So okay. That's great, Sean.
Did he actually leave this for you though? You didn't leave this.
I didn't
right?
leave that. No, that was him.
That's so great that
That's
he did
funny.
that. Well, Sean, we appreciate you listening and supporting us.
He really does listen all the time, though.
Oh yeah, I know. When I saw him down here for your birthday, it was nice to talk to you, and we had a good time chatting back and forth and all that. So I'm glad that you've molded him into the person he is today. What a great brother! And as a person who has
Now there's two of them.
there's two of them now. Oh my God, he's gonna start drinking Willets and dropping them all over the place.
Man. Have you ever dropped a bottle besides that one and had it break, though?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I broke one. What did I break? It wasn't important though. It wasn't important. Enough
Maybe
to remember what it
you ever
was,
dropped
but it was,
your broken thing like that?
Not a bottle.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think.
I did break this unicorn mug once. This coffee mug. This unicorn coffee mug.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
Uh-oh.
You did.
She broke her unicorn coffee mug?
Yes.
Not really.
Oh.
It was gravity. Gravity did it.
Gravity?
It was gravity.
She's correct. She's technically correct.
Well, that's a theory, right?
That is a theory.
Isn't gravity a theory?
Yes, everything's
Okay.
a theory.
Thank
Not
you.
tonight.
Yeah, tasting's a theory. Yeah. But if you would like a shout out, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a comment on YouTube. Like and subscribe as much as you can on all channels, but especially YouTube. I think we're almost at 200 subs.
Yeah, we need 800 more.
We need 800 more. And our only video that's out there right now, our interview with Bruce Russell, has just hit, I think, 1,000 views. So that was pretty cool. I didn't think anybody would care to see any of our faces, but I know what it is. It's my parka. Everyone has tuned in to see my lovely parka that I have on, and I will take full credit for that. So Shannon's looking at me like, what the hell?
Speaking of that interview,
Yep.
I revisited the other night with you.
Uh-huh.
That Wild Turkey 8 year.
Very good.
It tastes to me like it was bottled 20 years ago.
Right. Very, very good and very, very cheap.
One-
And here's the thing, okay? I can't remember who it was. Somebody messaged me. One of our listeners messaged me and said, the 8 years okay. It's all right. It's nothing great. And I was like, what are you comparing it to? I said, are you comparing it to a $40 bottle, or are you comparing it to a
$100, $150 bottle.
$150 bottle?
It's not anything special compared to that.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's not an ultra premium whiskey. It's a really great whiskey for $45.
That you can just sit
Yeah.
and drink and
Yeah, 40,
enjoy.
$45.
And
Come on.
it's not too high proof. So
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to accidentally give another shout out to Wild Turkey 8 Year 101.
What
but
else
we're
is
happy
in
it's
that
back.
price point? What's the 8-year new riff? What's that price?
70.
Oh, so a little
75,
bit
70.
more.
Yeah. Eagle Rare is like 50-55 in Kentucky, and I think I'd rather have this than Eagle Rare. So there you go.
I know for sure I would.
You would, yeah. Well, hey,
You know what I'd rather have?
you
Hey.
don't get angry about my Buffalo Trace tatering.
I'm not angry. What
You
did
looked,
you say?
you looked angry.
No,
Yeah, I'm pointing my finger. See that?
I didn't even point a finger.
I know. I got a little too excited about that.
I want my left horse blends. What I want.
Left horse plans. There you go.
Well, what I would really rather have,
Yes.
is what we got tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I've been so excited about it that, look at it, half the bottle's gone.
Yes, Kenny was very excited about this. So what we have for you tonight is the Calumet Farms 18-year trophy decanter. This comes to us from Calumet Farms. I guess it's not really a distillery, it's a farm, but it's Western Spirits and Beverage Company. The bottle date is 2025. ABV is 59. Proof is 118. Age is, of course, 18 years. The mash bill is 74% corn, 18% rye, and 8% malted barley. The MSRP on this is a very, very hefty, not cheap, $499.
It's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish. You could buy a lot of fish for $499. So, can I tell our listening audience real quick? First of all, let's talk about the bottle, and then I'll tell our listening audience a little story here.
Before you do the bottle,
Yes. Oh, the
start
box.
with what you see first.
Okay. So I do have to say, this box, it's heavy. It has this nice gold emblem on the front with a magnetic opening. And when it opens up, it's got this very beautiful red.
Beautiful red, dude.
And gold.
And the gold.
It's gray on the outside.
Oh, it's gray? I said
No,
it's black.
gray on the outside.
On the
it is.
outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the gold.
All right.
And then you open it and it's like a wine colored red inside.
With gold on the print, gold on the label, and there's a look, you slide out the information. Yeah, look at that.
Ooh. Does this have anything special in it?
I've not opened it. Let me open it. Oh, you can open it.
Sampling colors. What is that? I don't know what that says.
Let me read it.
Okay. Kenny's getting into the booklet here. Shannon, is there anything else?
100-year anniversary, honoring a century of greatness. It says the barreled, it was oak barrels, new 53-gallon, number 4 char.
Standard.
Small batch hand selected, distilled in Bardstown. Process is non-chill filtered. It's got the mash bill listed.
When it's hand selected, it always makes me feel good because I think about the other ways they select bourbon, and it really is just, the machine assisted is not working for me.
And then just on the other part is now like tasting notes, sampling 1, sampling 2. So it's like blank to where you can fill out your own sampling notes.
Nice. It's like an old school ledger. Like, yes, very nice.
Pretty awesome.
Very good.
Pretty cool.
So I'm going to put that back up here. And so here's where I'm going to take some credit. Can I take some credit or not?
Take it, big dog.
Okay, here we go. So I had heard that Calumet was bringing out an 18-year-old bourbon. In fact, I made a joke about it on the episode where we did the 18-year-old, which episode were we doing 18-year-old bourbon on? And I said, there's a centennial one. This hadn't even come out yet. I had just read about it.
That was the Orphan Barrel 18?
I think it was the Orphan Barrel 18, yeah. So I said, there's a centennial something or other, or maybe this, I just saw a press release for it. And so I was actually perusing the bourbon media, as I often do, and I came across a video from our friends over at the Bourbon Junkies, Dan and Sean. And Sean had bought this decanter when he was down in Kentucky, I believe, at the Heaven Hill event, if I remember correctly. Anyway, he waited, and he opened it with Dan, and they both really thoroughly enjoyed it. They were speaking its praises to the point where I was like, man, these guys, I've never seen them really go this crazy over whiskey. So I messaged Kenny and said, what do we know about Calumet 18? And I said, check this out. And we started trying to scour around to see if we could find some. Isn't this kind of how it went down?
Yes,
I'm not making this up, right?
No, that's exactly how it went.
Yeah.
Because I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
Until you sent the video.
And I didn't know anything about it until I really saw just what Dan and Sean were doing with it. And so we were instantly interested because we do like the Bourbon Junkies. We think they got a good thing going. We trust their palates a little bit more than, maybe others that we watch. And so that's kind of how it started. And then Kenny went crazy and went all over town searching for these things, and I did as well.
Well, remember, Shannon's on the episode tonight.
Yeah,
I went crazy and bought 2. So
I was with you.
I also own some.
So the bottle, though, and we'll talk about the other stuff in a minute.
Yeah.
Is that just not like 1960s, 1970s perfume bottle or something? Or like old school, like Old Forester decanter kind of bottle? I mean, what does this remind you of?
It's very Great Gatsby to me.
Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's got all the gold on it and it's...
Well, I showed this to a friend who stopped by the house today with some bottles who's not really into bourbon as much anymore. And he actually saw it and said it reminded him of like the top reminded of Castle and Key, just the gold accents and everything. And I said, yeah, that's actually, interesting. Kenny, you said you thought the sides reminded you of which one?
Well, the whole sides,
that purple bottle.
That's the old stubborn.
Old
The old
Stubborn.
stubborn.
Yeah.
that's old
What's this
school
called?
decanter.
What's all these grooves called? Like just,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just trying like this.
Like
this whole
ridges?
design.
Like
all
it's
the ridges,
ridge.
just the whole design is like an old ornate bottle.
Yeah,
Just old school ornate.
So I'll just come out and say this. It's probably the sexiest bottle I've seen in the last maybe 4 years. I'd have to really think about it, but it's the first time I've like seen a special release bottle and actually went, damn, I don't care if that glass costs $100 or $120 or whatever you're paying for here.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It looks great.
That and an old Fitz decanter are probably my two favorite bottles I've seen though.
Yeah. Now they're calling it the trophy decanter. Do we know if this has any significance to Calumet Farms, like at all? Like any kind of trophies or anything that they got all these accolades? Just
where, this is their centennial because they've been, Calumet Farm was founded in June 1924.
There you go.
So this whole little centennial series of theirs. So they have
in that when like the Great Gatsby wasn't it in the Roaring 20s?
I think you've got something here. I think the Roaring 20s. There you go. Maybe that's what it is. Shannon has decoded it, but yes.
Yeah, so this is their trophy bottle. They have their 17 year. They also released next to this,
right? And
it's in a bottle, just not as ornate. But this is beautiful, man. Like, it's just that's absolutely sexy, man.
Yeah, and they also released. I have to tell our listeners about this in case you guys see it somewhere. There's also a very expensive porcelain decanter that actually looks like Calumet Farms. Yeah. But I think it only holds like an 8-year small batch or something. It's not like a premium whiskey in there. Like you're buying, and you're spending the money on a decanter there, which is pretty cool. But do either of you know why they decided to get into bourbon? Like they're a storied farm in Lexington that has, as Kenny said, since 1924. They have it all in the bottle here. Triple Crown winners, 2 Triple Crown winners, 8 Derby winners. How many Preakness winners?
8 Preakness winners, 2 Belmont winners, and 11 horses in the Racing Hall of Fame.
Right. It's crazy. It's insane. So that's what they're known for. They're not known for bourbon. And then I remember when their products started showing up on the shelves. It was probably like late 2016, 17. Is that when they started putting product out?
I didn't really notice till 2021 for me.
Right.
But that's also when I started doing bourbon.
Right.
But according to their website, they've been aging barrels. So I guess they bought barrels from brokers or wherever for over a decade, they said. So probably 10, 11 years.
Yeah. No, it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I never knew why they got into bourbon. But
I've got a Calumet 12 year that my brother Daryl got me for my birthday a couple years ago.
Oh, nice. There you go. Mm-hmm. I drank a 14-year Calumet one time, and I can't remember why I bought it, but I think it was only around $110 or $120 when I got it. And it was pretty good. I remember liking it. The big thing with Calumet's regular bottles, do you have any of them on the shelf?
Not the regular. Well, I just have that 12-year that my brother bought me.
The 12-year, is it over here somewhere?
Yeah, hang on a second.
Okay. Sorry, I'm making Kenny get up now.
On the move again.
If it looks like the ones that I'm thinking of.
It'll be over here.
There's a reason why. Oh, okay. That's the old school one. So, yes, this was the cool old school before they went to the wine bottle. This, like, decanter-ish one. But when
looks like a nicer 1792.
Right, it does. But when they went to the wine bottle, the one that I had that was 14 years, it has a very strong resemblance to Pappy Van Winkle bottle. Mm-hmm. Very, very strong resemblance.
That's the one that fell out of Kenny's truck.
There you go. Yeah, that's crazy. I just had to mention that. Just because I'm all about trying to start lawsuits for companies on this podcast. But it looks a heck of a lot like Pappy Van Winkle. But so they've been doing stuff for quite a while now. Oh, this is open too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I might have to take a little pour of this.
What's the proof, like 90?
The proof on this one is, I can't actually read, 47%. So that's 94. This is like blends. Single rack black.
Boom, baby.
There you go.
Man, so back to what you talk about the Bourbon Junkie. So
is it the same mash bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same mash bill.
That's the thing. So all of this stuff is Barton. I mean, it's not said that it's Barton, but it's Barton. I mean, it's what everybody that's on the inside says, at least. Or
I mean, it's gotta be Barton or custom distilled, like maybe BBC Barton mash bill. I don't know,
but no, it's too old. I mean,
it's too old. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is all Barton. So it's good stuff. I mean, it really is. And the price, I mean, this one's expensive, but a lot of the regular stuff still, I guess it's kind of overpriced if you think about trying to buy another 12-year Barton.
Right.
But not really, because if you go drink that 1792 12-year up there,
right,
it's not as good as this Calumet 12-year. It's just not.
They've curated these.
So, And when I say hand-selected, I mean, they really might have, and who knows? I mean, it's horse money. Everybody talks about in Lexington, so they have horse money.
Right.
I mean, that's deep, deep, deep pockets and deep connections, both. Not just money, but
that's
also
true.
Connections.
Yeah.
So they, like, legit might be able to, they might have gone through and just handpicked and curated just tons of really, really good barrels because it's good.
If I owned a horse farm and I had a bourbon company or a bourbon brand, I would definitely want to be the bourbon sponsor for the Derby.
Oh,
like
yeah.
screw Woodford.
Yeah.
Like how you met it.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right, Kenny. If they sold these guys bad bourbon, it'd be like, I don't know how it works in the horse farm. It'd be like, you sell me bad barrels, you're going to end up in a bourbon barrel, you big joke. I'm just
End up being some horse food somewhere.
Is that how horse people sound?
Yeah, I think that's how horse people
In
sound.
Girard County, they do.
In Girard County.
It was Gerard, I said.
Girard. But so when you sent me that and I watched Dan and Sean's video,
Yep.
so I texted them, asked them about it, and they thought it was great. They said a few other people said they liked the 17 better.
Okay.
I think they said maybe Jason Calori didn't like the 18 as much as they did. But,
Mash and drum.
but they said it was great. So that was enough for me to go buy one.
Okay. Yeah, I actually bought one as well, and now we're getting to actually get to review it. I know that this has been put through its paces a little bit already, but
Before we talk
giving you
about that, you want to nose and taste?
yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I've put this through its paces already, so we can talk about that in a little bit.
There you go.
But you've only had it once, though, I think, right?
I have only had it once. Yes,
Shane,
This
you've
is
had
my
it
second
once?
time.
Yeah.
Okay. Get tobacco, leather,
Yeah,
a little
there's
mint.
A lot of old notes in this on the nose. Very old stuff.
Oh, and we might do the 17-year maybe as a short. No reason to do a Friday episode on it. So
Right.
we're doing the 18.
Okay.
But the 17 years won 17 proof, and the 18 years won 18 proof.
Oh, how
So,
cute!
yeah.
There's such. I hate when they do stuff like that. It's just such a cool thing.
They thought it out, I guess. This bottle's dope, dude. Oh, but look at the bottle. So it's on the label. Look, you can actually see through on that side. There's a hole
Oh,
With
through
a
the label.
horseshoe in it. Right?
Yeah, the horseshoe, and you can actually see through there.
Ah, nice. When you actually look at, I'm just joking.
No, when you look through there, if you look, it's actually George T. Stagg through
Is
there.
there George C. Stagg in there?
Yeah, no,
Thomas Handy. That's always the thing when you get a BTAC
it's
bottle.
Betty Boop through there.
There you go. Oh, nice. You can't have Jessica Rabbit. All right, that's enough. I get a little bit of faint like dark fruit as well, but it's mostly like tobacco, leather, old oak, seasoned oak, kind of on the nose. It is, my opinion anyway. Shannon's the one with the nose though.
No. Well, I don't get what you guys are getting.
Yeah, please tell our audience. what
Yeah,
you're
I don't
getting.
have a nose worth of crap.
Old sock. You get an old sock in there.
No, but on the top, like if you were sniffing through layers, like the top layer, there's something kind of tart there, kind of sour, kind of tart,
Okay.
and then the deeper it goes, the sweeter it gets, and it just has a very, what I consider a very quintessential bourbon essence nose. Like it's a little sweet, a little alcohol-y, like you can tell it's brown, it just,
Brown sweets.
yeah.
There
something
you
like
go.
that.
See.
It just smells like, like a quintessential bourbon.
Hey, the best in the business use that tasting note. Woodford uses that. I'm pretty sure they use that.
Brown
Brown
sweets.
sweets. You can make up whatever note you want, but I think you're right. No, there's
Brown sweets has bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for
Ain't
that.
nobody got time for that. Sweet brown.
How do you even remember this kind of stuff?
You're the
I
one that
said-
showed it to me.
Oh
but I
Lord
don't
Jesus, there's a
remember.
fire. I
Nobody
didn't say
got time
nothing,
for that.
Jesus. I
Trying to
ran.
get a cold
Jesus.
pop.
Trying to get a cold pop.
Dude, this nose. I don't have a good nose, and I still like this nose.
So Shannon, what you're saying, I mean, I know it's kind of a cop out, but it's almost like a sweet, like pastry note because you're talking about tartness.
Mm-hmm.
To me, like the more I nose it, I get other things too now, like a faint cinnamon, like all kinds of stuff, just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's definitely a thick, nice nose.
I like it.
The big thing's going to be when we start tasting this here is a $4.99, right? That's just lurking in the background. $499 is really pushing like
That's a Willett tour.
that's a Willett tour.
That's a Willett
whole
tour.
Willett tour.
That's 1/3 of an OBC dinner. No. Speaking of OBC, though,
Yeah. Oh yeah, please.
my boy Frickles was in town. Went to OBC with Mossick and Frickles last Tuesday.
That's awesome.
Great seeing them, obviously, but dude, the food is great. I got the shrimp and grits. Oh, it was so amazing.
That's good.
Bacon in the glass, so good.
I wanted some bacon in a glass.
I'll have to make you some.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So, but price wise, so we can talk about that closer to past try by if you want, as far as what would make us justify.
Okay.
But think about premium things that are out there. I'm not lucky enough to get George T. Stagg at retail.
Okay.
Secondary is what, $700, $650. You know.
Yep.
I got a couple Russells at retail, but Russell's 15. I mean at retail, but I only got a couple. So Russell's 15 is $550 secondary.
Right.
So, you know, it's one of those things where if you're the kind of person that only buys retail, that's great. I respect that. I'm not lucky enough to get much stuff at retail, and I still want to try stuff. So that was my justification of this being $500 plus taxes. It's still less money than I pay for a George T. Stagg.
Right.
It's less money than I pay for Russell's 15. That was my justification on it.
Gotcha. I know you're probably thinking, what did you use? Drank your bourbon? No, I drank the Calumet, the 94 proof.
No.
That was good, actually. Did you like that, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was tasty.
Yeah.
So how about that? So
Yeah,
that
thank you,
the 12-year 94 proof was good. So what is the 18 hazmat? Not hazmat, 118 proof. So
Let's go. Let's taste.
all right. I wish it could have been hazmat. It's probably higher proof. They probably still proofed it down to 118.
It's not very sweet. It's very woody.
Try to get sweet on the front, boy.
So what you're talking about,
Wow,
that
that changes.
at the beginning, what you're hitting your palate first, is the first time I tried it. I had to look back because, as luck would have it, Kenny has not cleaned his table. My notes are still here for the first time I tried it, so I can at least use a little bit of cheat sheet. But the first thing I wrote when I first tasted this whiskey was a little sharp. Mm-hmm. But the sharpness is the oak, and it fades pretty quickly. And then I get like an oily tobacco rye spice kind of palate that is nice to me anyway. I don't know.
So what I like on this, to me, it's one of those what I call flavor rides. The front is different than the middle, different than the end kind of thing. It kicks up and down and just truly changes to me. Like it is not a one-hit note that just holds and lingers, or a two-hit note. It truly, legitimately is multiple things in one, for me at least.
Yeah.
I think it's got a great mouthfeel. It's very warm, very tingly.
Yep.
It's a short ride for me.
Ooh. She's
I
attacked the ride.
Yeah, it's just there's not a front, middle, and end. It's
Okay.
just there, and then it's
Okay.
not.
That's interesting. I don't know if I'm getting like 5 waves here, but I'm definitely getting a distinct, probably 3 different waves to this palette. And I like it. I also think there's a little bit of like a citrus tea note that's coming out.
It's very dry, like a tea,
Right,
like
dry,
a black tea,
like a drying, yeah,
Yeah.
like a black tea note. I also think what's interesting about this, and follow me a little bit, is the only time I've ever gotten flavors like this, and it's not something I've drank a lot, is from older turkey. Like, to me, it has a little bit of an older turkey profile, because I don't get to taste that much old Barton. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not,
Yeah.
I don't, where do I get to taste 18, 19, 17-year-old Barton? Not a
Right.
lot. Buckner's, maybe, which I really liked. I thought that was a great one.
Did you bring it over?
I didn't bring it
You
over.
talked
I'm an
about bringing
idiot.
it
I talked
over.
about bringing it over, and I didn't bring it over.
Dang,
The
that'd have been good to
17-year-old
try.
Buckner's pick.
man.
Yeah, that would have been really good to have.
That'd have been good to try.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like a Woodford, like double oak, where it's real woody and dry,
Okay. I think
but
the,
it doesn't have the sweetness.
you don't think it has a sweetness?
I don't think it's very sweet at all.
Okay.
To me, the front's sweet.
It has a rye backbone. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just the front's sweet, and then it kind of goes up and down a little bit, and then after about 5 or 6 seconds, to me, that's when the finish just comes roaring in like a dusty rye bourbon. So you and I even, because I said the other day when you first had it, it was my 4th time having it. I said to me,
Thanks for waiting.
I said to me it tastes dusty, but I didn't really know what to really say as far as the dustiness. And then when you tasted, you said, "Oh, it's real rye forward."
Right.
I'm like, "Oh crap!" So I went and pulled out a Hirsch 25-year rye.
Right.
Shout out Jeff Bolt, right?
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, I got that from Jeff.
You know you didn't get that from him, did you?
$4,000. He just gave me a bottle.
No, not Jeff Bolt.
Yeah, man. Yeah. After all his $1,200 dinners, man.
Oh, yeah,
he,
after $1,200,
he just throws
yeah.
around $4,000
Exactly.
bottles.
That is Bolt.
But I'm not saying that. I'm not
Coolest
saying
cover.
this. Yeah, I'm not saying this tastes like a Hirsch 25-year rye. But the note on there for me that kicks up in the finish, that long finish that pulls through, is a lot like an old dusty rye. So whether it's the old Van Winkle rye, that Hirsch rye, it just pushes through. Now it's only 18% rye mash bill, but man, I'm telling you, that to me just it pushes through on that finish, and I think that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, and you know what else is great about this? Because, Shannon, you've talked enough on our podcast and been a guest to say that you're not a big fan of Dusties.
Correct.
Had to remind our listening audience of that. And I haven't tasted enough Dusty, but when you just said the Van Winkle rye and some of the other things that you've blessed me with there, Kenny, over the years, I do taste some of that kind of rye backbone. So it wasn't until you did that and said, like, oh, here's a Hirsch 25. I was like, okay, yes. So I kind of knew what I was tasting, but didn't know what I was tasting, if that makes any sense, because I haven't had enough Dusty
We're able
to know.
nail it down.
Yeah.
And I get on the front, and I get a little bit of cherry and a little bit of cola, even on the very front. So tobacco, leather, cherry, cola. It's not super sweet, don't get me wrong, but I get a little bit of a sweetness on the front.
Yeah, it's a lot of flavor packed into a very, what I would say, 18-year-old bourbon is not an abundance, but there's a lot of 118 to 130 proof stuff out there on the market, and this definitely has a lot of flavor packed into it, for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't imagine it, like what the proof was after the blending. Like, what if it was 130 and they brought it down to 118? I mean, I couldn't even imagine.
That's the thing. I don't know where exactly they're storing those at. I know according to the website, they said they work with Three Springs Bottling in Bowling Green, but I don't know where they actually store their barrels at, if they're all down low, if they go up 1 story, 2 story, if they're up in really high. I have no idea. So proof-wise, who knows how much water they added to this? I don't know.
That 12 years a single rack. It said it was on a single rack in whatever rick house.
Yeah.
It's on the side.
Oh, yeah, they have it on there.
the neck of the bottle.
Oh, there you go.
Around the other, yeah.
From the center cut, hand bottled.
Boom.
Craft this luxurious Kentucky bourbon. And why can't you get bourbon from anywhere else? Because Kentucky is where it's at. I'm just kidding. You can get bourbon from a lot of places, but obviously Calumet Farm's not going to bottle Indiana. They're bottling
Maybe they should.
Kentucky. Wow. Oh,
they are.
Shannon's really dogging this now.
Yeah, everything they do is just Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
But now, so far, every release I've seen has been this Barton stuff.
Right.
But I haven't looked at like some of their 8 year, because they have like 8 year small batch and all kinds of stuff. But I think it's all the same Barton stuff, man. Not the same, but I think it's all Barton sourced.
Yeah, I think
the same
so.
mash bill, because even on their website, that's the only thing I see on their website is that 74-18-8. So I'm assuming everything is Barton from them.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, before we
man.
get the pass trial by,
Yes, sir.
You want me to talk about what I did on this? I guess I can say what I did.
Yeah, sure.
So, as with any new release that I get that is either expensive or if I'm truly trying to be discerning on whether I want to buy something, I did not taste this until it was in a blind flight. So I poured 2019 George T. Stagg.
Oh.
I poured Russell's 15.
Oh.
And I poured this. I had Alves mix them up, so I didn't know what I was drinking, and I'd never drink this at all until it was in that blind flight. So obviously 2 of the 3 I knew what they were, but the other one I did not.
Okay.
And this was first place.
Oh, nice.
Russell's 15 was second, and the George T. Stagg was third.
And Alves was your bar girl.
So
I knew he'd love that one. He's going to love
you.
that one. More hate coming my way. Go ahead.
But I blinded it again a few days later, and I had the Calumet 17 in there.
Okay.
This 18, my Rock Elite 17, which is a 17-year-old Barton,
Okay.
and I had Heaven Hill 18. This finished first. Rock Elite was second. Calumet 17 was third. Heaven Hill 18 was last.
All right.
So Heaven Hill 18 is what, a $500 bottle as well on secondary?
Yep.
So for me, that was my justification on going and buying a few of these, because compared to other stuff that I drink that's, that's in that same pricing point, this was better. So I didn't just open this, drink it. Oh, I love it. No, I did not try this at all until it was in a blind flight.
Right.
And I will say, I'm not going to say the guy's name because he may or may not want it said on here.
Okay.
I double blinded him. He had no idea what he was drinking. And it was Calumet 18, Russell's 15.
I think you can say it was Anthony. It's okay.
I'll tell you about mine in a second.
So Calumet 18, Calumet 17, and Russell's 15. Calumet 18 won. And this is a guy with a very good palate that a lot of people know and love and adore.
Okay.
So that's how good this has been so far.
That must have been I don't know who he's talking about. He's
I
think I know who he's talking about.
Don't even say
love
it.
and respect.
Don't say it.
I think I know who he's talking about.
Well, I had the same experience when I came over here to try it the other night, and Kenny had me taste it with the Calumet 17, the Russell's 15, the 18, and a George C. Stagg, correct,
Yep.
sir? And I went Calumet 17 1, I went Calumet 18 2, George C. Stagg 3, and Russell's 15 4th. That was my order. So I couldn't go back and tell you why I picked the 17 over the 18, but I think it had a little bit more of like a softer banana caramel note to it that I enjoyed that was nice on the palate.
Shannon would pick 17 over 18.
Do you think she picked 17
because
over
it's
18?
more of that.
He's got my note.
It's that
There you go.
sweeter, like you said, more caramelly, a little sweeter.
Right.
This tastes very oak and leather and tobacco.
Right.
The 17 is not. The 17 is that sweeter profile. So for me, and I like bold, and I do like Dusty's, the 18 is my jam all over the place. But I can definitely see how other people do like the 17 better sometimes.
Well, I know that I'm appreciating the whiskey more tonight than I did the other day in the blind. Not that I didn't appreciate a surprise blind with Russell's George T. Stagg and 2 Calumets. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Kenny.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Buddy. All right, so it's part of the episode.
All right.
Would you pass, try, or buy on the Calumet 18 year, 118 proof, trophy bottle,
Well,
centennial release?
I always say I'm going to go first, then somebody cuts me off and I get to go first. But I'll just tell you very simple here that for a $499 bottle, I like the way it looks. I like the package. I think the bourbon inside of it is just as good as it looks. And I'm going to buy it. In fact, I bought one and I bought a second one after I had a chance to taste it.
After you tasted it, you bought a second one.
After I tasted it, I bought a second one. So I have $1,000 in this. So it's not just me saying that I would buy it. I actually did buy it twice.
You would like to go, Beck?
Sure.
Uh-oh. Watch what you say. Just kidding.
I always think if you have the opportunity, you should always try something. However, I think a $400 or $500
Yeah.
price is egregious.
Okay.
And I think at $20, I would still be disappointed in it.
Really?
Yeah. So I would
Ooh.
try it if somebody else bought it, but
Okay.
I would pass otherwise.
Oh, wow. So we got a buy pass. We got a pass from Shannon. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Kenny, I know what you're going to say, but then you're also going to have to tell me why Shannon is a pass, too. You have to explain this. I'm just kidding.
He knows.
Yeah.
I mean, this is bold and tobacco and leather.
But it's not. I like
It
tobacco
is.
and leather. It's not bold
You
anything.
don't.
It's just very
You say you
woody.
do, but you don't.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here.
No. Your palate has changed. You don't like that. So one of the ones that she says she loves is the New Riff Backsetters, the Backsetter Rye and Bourbon.
Right.
It's tobacco, it's mint, it's leather, it's blah, 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 blah. Well, she was crapping on this, so I poured her blind, double blind, the New Riff. Ooh, I don't like that. That's not good either.
Oh.
So, yeah, your
No,
palate's
I said,
changed.
I said immediately it was disgusting,
Yes.
even on the
Wow.
nose.
Yes.
But everything that he gave me that night that that I love, I didn't love. So I do think it was an off night.
You are more now just Evan Hill, or you are Evan Williams, 100 proof, vanilla, caramel, sweet, light. That's where your palate's changed to. You're not a tobacco or
I
leather.
don't even drink Evan Williams anymore.
I'm just
I
saying,
don't
but that's
think
what you like. So for me, I'm a definite buy. I'm not going to say how many of these I bought, but I do own a few of them. To me, it's a buy. But I will say,
Just say how many you bought.
no, because I don't want Jeff group texting Anthony about me.
He's going to do it no matter what you do. It doesn't matter.
I will say, after knowing you,
Yes, sir.
after meeting Jeff, and after meeting Bob, there is something in the water at Kent State. You all are literally just goofy. So
I've only met Bob. I don't think I've met Jeff.
No, you haven't. But
No.
you'll eventually meet him, and
Bob's great, Jeff's great, Anthony is he's all right.
just all right. I see how it is.
But no, so I will say, as a good reference point to our listeners, though, Because I always say, find somebody's palate you trust, find this, find that. You got to justify, was the price worth it, blah, 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 blah. To me, these are definite buys, and I bought several of them. But for our listeners, I think the best way to do it, and that's why I did the blinds of what I did, if you do like George T. Stagg and you would buy it secondary, if you like Russell's 15 and you would buy it secondary, then this is a definite buy. If you would not, if our listeners, after tasting Russell's 15 and George T. Stagg, would not pay anything other than retail for those, then they might want to just try that or pass on it. Because it's expensive.
Good. That's a really good way of putting it together. I mean, I don't know how else I'd frame it because it's an expensive bottle, but yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Because I think hopefully a lot of listeners have had George T. Stagg, they've had Russell's 15. And if you would pay, $500 to $650 for one of those, then you need to pay $500 for this for sure.
Right. And this bottle will likely be on the shelf. It won't be in abundance anywhere, but because it's a $500 bottle, chances are when Total Wine gets one in your area, said Total Wine because they'll get it and they'll actually put it out, and they'll probably have a different price online than they will in person. So make sure you check online first.
Well,
I think they're $100 more online than they were.
Oh, they're more online or more in person?
Total Wine did not have a limit on theirs.
Okay.
I bought 3 of them.
Oh, there you go.
They were online at $4.99, but in store they were like $6.50 or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
bait crooks. There you go.
Yeah.
So watch where you're going to buy this, but chances are you're going to see it on the shelf. Probably not going to overpay for it right now. If it dries up and it gets the acclaim that we think it might, then you might be regretting not buying
Yeah.
it. We'll see.
So if anyone's keeping tally, you're up to 4 or 5 now. How many did you really buy?
No, so I think that, like the big needle mover in the bourbon world is Minnick.
Right.
And if this does good in Minnick stuff, this is going to freaking shoot the price like crazy. I think just like how the Very Old Fitz 13-year
Right.
won a big World Whiskey Award, 2 or 3 months ago. Yep. Now it's shot up to $1,500 secondary. Yep. This has the capability of doing something like that with either Minnick or some of those awards. So
I agree.
It could definitely jump up big time. But I had a couple listeners message me about this even like a week ago. And one person in their area, they had this one for just $3.99.
Whoa.
Another place they saw it for $4.49, even though retail is $4.99. So I have no idea how those other places were less than, maybe they have distributors that don't take as big of a cut in those other states or something.
Or maybe somebody's just going to get fired for pricing it wrong.
Yeah, they might have priced 18 like it was a 17.
Yeah, right.
So
That happens a
Western
lot.
Spirits Beverage Company doesn't put a cap on it or
there's no.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
just free market.
So one last thing we have to do, because this is a 2025 release, even though
we have
it's
to
for
score
2024,
it.
we got to give us a score.
Because this is a 2025 release. Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
I already know what I'm going to do here.
If you know what you're going to do, go ahead. I'm going to take one more sip and then give it a final score.
This is actually the other night when I tried it, I was going to put it like solidly like around an 8 because that's a really high score for me, but I think I'm going to bump that up to an 8.25. So 8.25 right now, people look at it go, okay, that seems like it's a little bit low on a score out of 10. I think my top drink whiskey last year was 9.25. So it's pretty high. So 8.25.
I need an ink pen.
Ink pen? As opposed to your feather pen, sir?
As opposed to a lead pen.
Your cradle pen.
A lead pen.
A lead pen.
All right, so
That's a lovely painting, Molly.
Calumet 18, what's your score?
8.25.
So what's cool is this will definitely be in our blinds this year.
Yes.
And since we do so many blinds and we have no idea what we're drinking, it's sort of like double blind.
Right.
So it'd be cool to compare our double blind score compared to what we are while we're drinking it.
I love that.
I am going to give this a 9.25.
Wow. He's coming out the gate. Kenny loves this whiskey. And I don't blame him. It's good whiskey.
So that's my highest score of the year.
That's your highest score? Okay.
I mean, this is definitely whiskey of the year 2025 so far for releases this year that I've had.
I can't say that I disagree. I think there's something I tasted that I liked better, but we can't talk about it until we have a chance to talk about it on the podcast.
Ooh, that's true. Now, I will say this, it's only May. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is whiskey of the year by any means. Do not take me as saying that. So far, from January until May so far, this is the best thing I've tasted that is a 2025 release. But there could be several things that beat this. No doubt to come.
I already know what one's going to be. It's going to be
King Kentucky.
BTAC Colonel E.H. Taylor.
No. Well, you know, George C. Stagg coming out, King Kentucky coming out. Russell's has a high proof coming out, and it should release later this year.
Really?
126, 128 proof Russell's that Bruce is doing.
Nice.
I mean, there'll be other good stuff coming out. But so far, I'm giving this 9 1/4, knowing what I'm drinking.
All right. There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
And with that, thanks for listening to this episode. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also,
Head on over to our partner, the Woodwork Collective, at woodworkcollective.shop. Enter code MASHUP for a 15% discount.
let us know your thoughts in the bottom of the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.